Well, it's January 10th, 2026, and that means that it has been a decade since David Bowie died, and the world started going insane. So, what better way to remember the late great Starman than taking a look at his first film?
Wait, I'm in the wrong attire. Much better. Is that supposed to be a horror movie? Or the world's only gay porno without sex?
So, the image was a silent short film shot and released to select London theaters in 1969. And other than its rather notable cast, including David Bowie and Michael Byrne, probably most well known for his portrayal of Ernst Vogel in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, making him the second of two actors in the film to portray a Nazi in their respective careers. The image is a film also notable for being the first short film to receive an X rating from the British censors for violence. However, I have a suspicion that violence may not be the only reason it was rated X, but I'll get into that later. The basic plot synopsis of the film is that a struggling young artist paints a picture of a young man, specifically a then 20-year-old David Bowie, reaching out his arms. And the figure of this painting comes to life and stalks the artist.
You know, I don't find myself being very terrified about the concept of being stalked by David Bowie. Maybe someday.
I'll start with one negative, and it's a very low production value, but I can't really knock points off of the film for that, since it was made by young independent artists in the 1960s, and thus had a budget less than the net worth of Diogenes of Sinope when he died. Everything else is very well done, and it serves the purpose of enhancing the creepy atmosphere, whether it be the visuals or soundtrack, which unfortunately David Bowie did not score. Which honestly adds to the atmosphere and tone, because I don't think Uncle Arthur probably would meld very well with the relatively graphic visuals of this film.
Uncle Arthur vanished quickly. Uncle Arthur and his new bride. Uncle Arthur follows Sally.
The visuals. They're fittingly creepy and somewhat disturbing, although perhaps it's my Zoomer mind that may have been exposed to too much more extreme acts of violence in the media in the past 60 years. But I do admit, it is kind of creepy to see David Bowie covered in blood and getting stabbed, but it isn't the disturbing gore fest I expected when I heard that it was rated X for violence. And I suppose that's really just because the public was a lot more prudish about violence in the 60s. Or it may have just been a British thing. But I have a theory that the secret real reason it may have been rated X was because the censors picked up on the then taboo homosexual subtext, which may or may not have been intentional, but if it was, then it elevates this film from being an interesting historical artifact to being an ahead-of-its-time masterpiece about how it is impossible to suppress your sexuality. So let's roll this back and dissect the story details that point to this conclusion. 1. The artist is a young man who paints a picture of another young man. 2. Said young man that is painted is 20-year-old David Bowie, someone who, in absence of a better phrase to describe him, is a certifiable twink. 3. David Bowie's character is painted holding his arms open, as if begging the artist to embrace him, and the character, when he comes to life, even after being attacked, still holds this pose. 4. No matter how many times the artist tries to get rid of David Bowie's character, he keeps coming back, even to the point where he's still haunting the artist even as the film ends. If that doesn't sound like an accurate representation of trying to hold back your sexuality, I don't know what is. The image is not just David Bowie's first film, it is a masterpiece of queer cinema. Party dude? Yeah.
Hello, I'm 1960s David Bowie, and I came here to sing you a lovely song.